Breaking right now, the respected royal author Hugo Vickers has revealed that Prince Harry is not only petrified of her, like so many others, by the way, every member of staff who's seen her bullying ways, but he's also petrified of losing her, which could explain the sorry state he finds himself in, excusing the inexcusable when, for example, it comes to pimping out the children to sell her scam jam when he claims that social media is the most dangerous place in the world for children. It could explain a lot. I have no sympathy, to be honest. The guy was warned, but perhaps it is an explanation. We're going to get analysis in just one moment from our royal mastermind, Angela Levin. She is Prince Harry's biographer, who spent obviously about, well, a good couple of years following the guy around. So she knows him well. But Angela Levin, is Hugo Vickers right? Do you believe that Prince Harry is not only petrified of Meghan Markle, he's also petrified of losing her?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's been going on actually before they even got engaged. I remember when I went to see him at the palace, and one of his aides said, Look, be very careful. He's in a mood today that he thinks she's going to drop him. So he's beside himself. So don't mention it. Be very careful. Otherwise, he'll just shout and you'll have to leave. Okay. And you get used to that. So I didn't mention it. And then he mentioned her a bit later. You know, you have to have these techniques, don't you, as a journalist? I think
But
he's
that
been.
sounds like emotional manipulation, doesn't it, by Meghan from the very early days?
Yeah, well, I think that. And I will say something now that is pretty dangerous, but what I feel. You'll have to unlock me out of prison, actually. Um, and I think that when she said that she wanted to kill herself because she was so unhappy and it was so awful. I think that that was what she wanted to do to get Harry out. I don't believe that that's what she was doing. I think it was something that she said that she knew he would help her because she went for to the I can't remember where it was anyway, and she dressed and she was beautifully dressed. Now, if you
Oh, yeah,
actually
to the
ask,
Royal Albert Hall, wasn't
yeah, that's
it?
it. Thank you. But if you are so depressed, you can't go, you can't get out of bed, you can't do anything. You can't sort of put makeup on and make sure you look lovely and then go there and be smiling at everyone. Even if she's an actress, you can't do that. But I think that she does sort of shriek and say, you know, what are you doing? You're making my life so terrible. She's one of those women, and that's how they keep their man dangling. And I think that that's been part of Meghan. And you can see that because if she went to the Invictus Games, she was kissing him and loving him and putting her neck in his and doing all those things. And then he disappeared because she didn't want him around for several weeks because she wanted to do her cooking. Now, I love you, I don't love you, get out of here, stay with me. I mean, she said at the podcast that we got to do at the beginning of the week that she's always going to stay with him and she loves him and he's foxy but lovely and he wants to do everything he can to look after me. But it's never that what she's going to do for him. Meghan, it's for Meghan. And you can see that he's really lost. He can't find a job. He hasn't got friends. And he's just there to be an assistant and to follow her if she's going anywhere. That's what I feel. And I'll be in trouble, but you'll have to help me out.
Angela, also, there has been odd behaviour from Prince Harry over the past week because, of course, he turns up to this Legends of Aviation event and Kurt Russell says on stage, unfortunately, living legend Harry has to leave early tonight. Who else will pick the berries for his wife's raspberry soup? Which is obviously quite a diss, given we know what's going on. But then in the picture, and you'll see the commentator USA pick this up, they asked, "Hey Harry, is that a shiner?" So, I mean, I'm obviously not suggesting we know at all if he did have a shiner or if he wasn't well. But it was interesting, wasn't it? Because he didn't feel like he was on good form. You know him pretty well. You can pick things up. And remember, Angela, the day before he'd been at that Time 100 event as sort of Meghan's bag carrier. And there's that video of when they get out the car together and she just charges ahead and shows him absolutely no respect, which you meant to do if you're a member of the royal family, and you could
He couldn't
see the
have been there.
misery
He
in his
didn't, you know,
face.
it looked as if he wasn't there, wasn't it? She just carried on walking through. Yeah.
So do you think there's
Well,
something going on?
well, he could have fallen over.
Of
He
course.
could
Yeah,
have
of course.
had a fight with anybody. So I think on that one, I don't have any evidence. But what you do see is that he was wounded, but we don't know who or
No,
why.
exactly. We
But
don't.
that makes him very miserable,
Of
and
course.
he
And
didn't
and that
feel.
is understandable, of course, if you've had a fall or anything like that. Now, the criticism from the US, Angela, though, as a result of this latest glut of publicity is very interesting to me because Dana Lash, the right wing American commentator, doesn't usually talk about this type of thing at all, right? She's not big and into the royal family or sort of pop culture stories at all. But on her most recent podcast, she spoke about Meghan and Harry because she claims, and I agree with her actually, that they now represent grifter culture. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews, and special royal episodes. It's interesting, isn't it, hearing from Dana Lash on this?
Yes, but it's good for somebody like that will talk out, because a lot of us, we don't, we're either so used to it or we leave it alone. But I do a fair bit of cooking, but you do see if somebody's used to doing it by their speed and the way they use their hands and how they use the cutlery they're doing. But she has got no idea about it. You can just tell that. I agree with her. She's got no experience. And also with her hair hanging down, and the one with Lilibet, who was right next to her, where she was boiling some strawberries. And I thought, oh no, she turns her head. She can get the head in the boiling water. I mean, I just felt the hair in the boiling water. I just felt, you've got to be very careful. You've got to make sure that I mean, anyone can do that, make a round of fruit because there's nothing to do. Somebody else would cut it for her. She could just put it in place, but she really hasn't got a clue. And I think also that she doesn't really understand about children either, because in the chats that she's had lately, she talks in a ridiculous way, like saving several lines of what she wants the children to know when they're 18 and or 16 even. But can you imagine a teenager wanting to know what a mother thought of them when they were sort of 3? It doesn't make any sense. And I think that's exactly the same with cooking, that she can say things and pretending she's so working to the end, but actually it's all she doesn't know anything, but she wanted to do this and earn money out of it. Netflix must be very disappointed, but I do feel that some of these things that she wants to do it because then she can say to Netflix, well, look at me. I'm still on the front pages. People are still wanting to see what I'm doing. Doesn't matter if they don't like it. Doesn't matter if they don't like me for it. But look, they're looking. You're doing very well. Let's carry on. I think that's quite in her head.
Angela, Dana Bash also spoke about, I know it's your favourite topic too, Angela, the flower sprinkles. I know you're with her on the flower
Very
sprinkles,
good,
aren't
isn't
you?
it? She's got it quite right, the whole mood. Well, my feeling on that one is that it's not selling. And so she's making up all this absolute rubbish, a little bit of magic. Tell me, dried up bits of flowers. I can't believe what she's saying. They won't. That's people just don't want to do that. You go to, yeah, what's that? Yak out. But I think she's trying to make sure that she sells loads of it, and actually people might not have bought it. So this would be a way of trying to sell it herself.
And Angela, I think Dana Bash actually maybe the Dana Lash, sorry, maybe the best moment was when she actually, well, there's a little bit where she goes into the fashion. And I know, I mean,
Oh, I love that bit.
yeah, I'm not a
I love.
fashion guy, but a lot of
I
people were
know, but
talking about
even
this.
you could do that very easily. You could comment on that.
And then
It's so
also,
obviously awful.
yeah, I know. Well, Dana goes into that, but then, and this is what I was much more interested, she talks about Meghan's visit to Uvalde, remember, after the school shooting. It's interesting, isn't it, Angela, just to see
She's
the
brilliant. I
reaction
mean,
in America.
she's got it all together,
Mm,
and
mm,
one line after the other, she actually sees all the flaws. And I don't mean just flaws because she can't do anything else. I mean, we've all got flaws, but I think she's got such huge flaws. She does such awful things that that's why she's so unpopular. Absolutely. People can't stand it. Okay, one thing, but it's one thing after the other that her reasoning to doing something is so appalling, so negative, so just about her that people just don't want to know. I've had a couple of emails saying, why can't you stop about talking about, we can't stand her. I'm in Canada. I'm also, there's somebody else who's also in Canada. She makes me sick. But you see, you are drawn to the horror of it. And that, in a way, makes her right about with Netflix that people cannot bear it. People cannot bear her. But they can say to their friends, did you see? Not again. Can you believe what she's doing this time? How she's cunning. It's cunning.
Angela, it was really interesting too seeing Billy Bush. Now, for folk who don't know about Billy Bush, he's a very mainstream guy. He was extra, Access Hollywood, the Today Show. The poor guy, actually. I mean, the Bush story is fascinating. He's the poor guy who was cancelled because he had the conversation with Donald Trump before the election in 2016, where Donald Trump said some spicy things, not realizing that he was being recorded, and then it was leaked. And Billy Bush lost his job for some reason because he was the guy who was chatting with Billy Bush. Anyway, he has now launched his own show called Hot Mics. And I really enjoyed his take too, because this is a much more mainstream take on why that Meghan Markle interview with Jamie Kern Lima, I think that's her name, has just been a disaster. And see, what's interesting to me about this, Angela Levin, is look, people who watch our show are pretty engaged on the whole with the royal family, and they know the story, they know the background. But what's so interesting about this Jamie Kern Lima interview is that it was so bad, Angela. It's completely translated and gone huge in America for all the wrong reasons. Stephen Crowder's been talking about it, and I think we can show you the stats as we go on, Angela, but the dislikes on this video are like off the scale. I mean, one of our videos, Angela, usually, and I'm so grateful, by the way, please do hit like if you are watching us right now, because it really, really does help with YouTube and the algorithm and everything. And most of our videos, Angela, get about 99% likes, which is just amazing and extraordinary. Look at this, Angela. This video got, is it 78% dislikes? So even the people who are watching it, and by the way, many more people actually watched, Angela, this is really interesting to know, many more people watched our analysis, you know, the analysis that we did earlier in the week with myself and you and Samantha Markle. More people have watched our analysis than have watched the interview itself, but the people who are watching the interview are not liking it.
How interesting. Yeah. Well, we'll have to carry on with what we're doing, won't we? But I think this discussion, Meghan and her friend, are just is just too awful for words. And very near the beginning, she was asked if she'd like to sew or and she said, "Oh, I so wanted to do that. I thought, but I'm so busy. I mean, okay, can't do it, leave it. So don't worry about it." But she took this as a sort of she's so important and so rushing around, getting up and getting to school, and she has to go twice, and it takes a long time. She's not back till 9 o'clock, and then ha ha, but she's got a nanny. So we all think, okay, but I've been told that it's now her mother again, that the last nanny left. And it's her mother who stands in for being a nanny because nobody else wants to. Now, I haven't got that absolutely uh, certain, but that's it. And I'm sure that that's right. Because I think she's getting worse and worse and worse, and how she speaks and how she responds to something and what she thinks of herself. And this conversation was not going to be just about her and what she's doing. You want something interesting, and it isn't. It's so dull, it's so boring, it's so petty, and it's all about her amazing confidence in herself, which actually isn't confident because she wouldn't be like that if she was confident. She would be helping people and standing up and wanting to get people to know some of the things she's done and how they could do well. No, it's all about her. But she's fed up with um, making something happen now, isn't she? She's fed up. And I think the whole thing of not wearing any makeup was also to show how unfortunate she is, and things don't work out for her, but she tries so hard, but nobody listens. I think that to look like that, which made her look absolutely dreadful, but was deliberate there to show that, she's got no time even to put on makeup.
Angela, I just want to
No.
ask you. Oh, sorry, you come in,
Yeah.
Angela.
Yeah, I just want to say something about our king.
Yes, I was going to ask you about that. So he had the
Yes.
big Well, it wasn't an announcement, was it? It was a very personal statement this week. It appeared on all of the
Yes.
front pages, and it was a bit worrying because he used this quote from Dame Deborah James. Now, I knew Dame Deborah James, but she obviously died of wonderful woman, Balbe, but she died of terminal cancer. What do you make of it, Angela?
Well, I think that he doesn't necessarily think that the cancer is going to kill him. I think that he really appreciated her courage and that she was positive all the way through. I think there's a slight difference between that. And I think that his way of opening up. No other king has ever done that. George VI didn't even know he had cancer, so it wasn't even mentioned. But for him to want to show people that it is frightening, that it is difficult, but that you can, with all the people around you, be helpful and let them know how to manage it somehow. And I think that it was absolutely extraordinary that he did that. It's incredibly brave and incredibly kind. And to talk about his own feelings and that he was frightened and that it was very difficult. But he's not too bad. He's getting better. I think whatever happens, he's a marvelous king. And this is a wonderful example of giving. He had 500 people there, and I'm sure he would speak to virtually everyone. He usually does, and that he wanted to show that he could help people rather than poor me, poor me, poor me. And I think we should be jolly pleased that we've got a king like that.
And
Not
Angela,
that
we're
he has
just looking
cancer,
at
but
these
he's just,
pictures of Dame
yes,
Deborah James with Prince William and her family. Do you remember he went to visit I
yes.
mean, it was days,
Was
I think, before she died.
He was amazed by her as well. I mean, I think everybody is amazed by the courage. that she had and how she dealt with her child and all that sort of thing. She was absolutely amazing. Would make you cry because she was so strong.
Well, I know. And her final words, which Charles obviously quoted, were find a life worth enjoying, take risks, love deeply, have no regrets, and always, always have rebellious hope, which is just beautiful, isn't it? So it was a very emotional moment for the king.
It is, and I think that will help him to know that he has been able to help people. And I think if you think that, I know that Queen Camilla, who I also wrote a biography for, what she said before she got married was that she was always going to be there for him, to be the rock, because she thought that Prince Philip did absolutely brilliantly for Queen Elizabeth. And she wanted to do the same. That was very, very important, not take over from him. And I think that was exactly what she's done, because I could notice little bits of Camilla there at the event, that, what she really cares about, that she is right there for him. And that's exactly wonderful help for him, as much as can be done.
Angela Levin, beautifully put. Thank you so much, and we will speak next week.
The latest discussion centers on comments made by royal historian Hugo Vickers, who has spent decades studying the British royal family and its history. Speaking about Prince Harry, Vickers argued that the Duke appears fundamentally different from the person the public knew before his marriage to Meghan Markle. According to Vickers, Harry now seems isolated from many of the relationships that once defined his life, including long-standing friendships and close family connections. He suggested that Harry's willingness to publicly criticize the institution he once served has surprised many who followed his earlier royal career. These observations have fueled renewed speculation about how much Harry's outlook has changed over the past several years. One of the most widely discussed aspects of Vickers' comments concerns Meghan Markle's influence over Prince Harry. Some royal commentators believe Meghan has played a significant role in shaping Harry's public decisions since their marriage. They point to the couple's departure from royal duties, their media projects, and their interviews as evidence of a new direction. Others reject that interpretation entirely. Supporters argue that Harry is an independent adult who makes his own decisions and should be held personally responsible for his choices rather than attributing them to someone else's influence. This difference in interpretation continues to divide both royal commentators and the wider public. Another major topic is the dramatic evolution of Prince Harry's public reputation. For many years, Harry was widely viewed as one of the most popular members of the royal family. His military service, charitable work, and approachable personality earned him considerable public goodwill. However, following the publication of interviews, documentaries, and his memoir Spare, public opinion became far more divided. Critics argue that repeated public disclosures about private family matters have permanently altered the way many people view him. Supporters, meanwhile, maintain that Harry has simply chosen to tell his own story from his own perspective. Regardless of where opinions fall, there is little doubt that his public image has changed dramatically. One of the central themes throughout this discussion is trust. Royal commentators argue that trust, once broken, is exceptionally difficult to rebuild. Years of interviews, media appearances, documentaries, and published memoirs have contributed to concerns about confidentiality within the royal family. Some observers believe this explains why any future discussions would likely remain cautious and carefully managed. Others suggest that family relationships can recover over time if both sides genuinely wish to move forward. Ultimately, trust remains the key issue underpinning every conversation about reconciliation. The discussion also highlights the importance of public perception. Every public appearance, interview, and statement by Harry and Meghan is now examined in extraordinary detail. Supporters view this level of scrutiny as excessive. Critics argue that public figures who choose to share personal experiences through commercial projects naturally invite greater examination. In today's media environment, perception often becomes as influential as reality itself. That makes consistency and credibility increasingly important for anyone operating in the public eye. Whether one agrees with Hugo Vickers or not, his comments have once again brought attention to the continuing questions surrounding Prince Harry's relationship with Meghan Markle and the royal family. Some believe Harry has simply chosen a different path and is living according to his own convictions. Others see a pattern of decisions that they believe has led to growing isolation from his family and former role within the monarchy. At this stage, many of the strongest opinions remain exactly that, opinions. What remains undeniable is that the story of Harry, Meghan, and the royal family continues to generate worldwide interest, with every new comment adding another chapter to an already complex and closely watched family saga. As always, viewers should distinguish between confirmed facts, reported claims, and personal commentary when considering these ongoing developments. What do you think? Do you agree with Hugo Vickers' assessment, or do you believe Prince Harry's decisions should be viewed differently? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this analysis, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more in-depth royal family news and commentary.